Today we're doing a review on a pretty cool champion inside the game that I've been looking forward to talking about for quite some time, since he is a very interesting looking little lizard, and that is going to be Slixus Stripehide. So this guy looks to have a pretty decent kit. I built him out. Of course, I do have a 5-star awakening for him as well. No empowerment or anything like that, so we're not too crazy here on the showcase, which is good. And I want to essentially go over how to build him, do a damage showcase, all those sorts of good things. So let's go ahead and let's hop straight into his kit. He has an A1, a Harmonious Strike, attacks one enemy two times. Each hit has a 30% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn. This is actually a very strong A1 if you haven't built out with accuracy. 30% on each hit is a very, very decent chance, certainly, right? So a chance for crowd control there on the A1 is going to be so useful in, for example, faction wars, City of Centranos, so many areas that you might use this particular champion. That's going to come in very, very useful. And that does actually have a 1.85 times attack multiplier, so he's going to be sitting at about 3.6 both hits considered, which is very strong for an A1. We have an A2, Blades of Finality, attacks one enemy 2 times, each hit ignoring shield, increased defense, and strengthen. Each hit also heals this champion by 20% of the damage inflicted. Very, very strong skill here, ignoring some of the best survivability buffs that you can have in the entire game. So shield, he's going to be ignoring bolsters and those sorts of things. Increased defense, obviously, is very self-explanatory. And then strengthen is something that would generally mitigate the damage taken by 15 or 25%, depending on which version of strengthen you have. So just ignoring all of those things means that you're putting out so much more damage, which is very cool. We have a Dragon Shuriken. I forgot to mention as well, the Blades of Finality has a 2.65 times attack multiplier, which means that we're sitting at over 5.2 times damage. I think it's 5.3 times damage on this particular skill, which is absolutely insane. Dragon Shuriken attacks all enemies before attacking, places an increased crit rate and increased crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. So technically, you could build him with 70% crit rate if you really wanted to min-max your particular builds. That's not something that I'm going to be doing, though. And this is on a 3-turn cooldown, so there is going to be a turn where it's not up. So I'd rather just have the extra crit rate on there and get a little bit more consistency out of him, to say the least. A3 multiplier is 3.3 times attack on an AoE. Certainly not bad for an epic champion. Sanctified Killer passive increases his crit damage by 10% every time they kill an enemy, stacks up to 30%. These stacks will not reset upon death. If this champion's Blades of Finality skill kills an enemy, so that's going to be his A2, the big hit, the next skill they use will ignore 30% of the target's defense. So if you go in with his A2 and then you do the A3, he's going to be ignoring 30% of the defense on the A3. As long as he killed somebody on the A2, this guy is absolutely insane. He's got an ally attack in arena battles by 28% as well, which is a very strong aura for an epic champion. Now, granted, he is a void epic, so he's going to be a bit harder to get than some other epics in the game, but that also works a lot in his favor, considering that he's not going to be able to weak hit, right? So what do we have for masteries? Pretty usual stuff. We have Deadly Precision, and then we work our way all the way down to Helm Smasher here, as you can kind of see. And then I did actually get Blood Shield on him as well, which is something that I think I'm going to start running on more of my champions. Blood Shield, as you can see, places a shield buff on this champion for 1 turn when this champion kills an enemy. So what's cool about that is this is going to be equal to 15% of this champion's max HP. So if you can imagine running a mastery like that on like a Taurus or a Magnar or something like that, it's going to be very, very strong. For the stats, this is how we have them. 5,500 attack, almost 5,600. 282 on the speed, 100, and then 288 on the crit rate and crit damage, respectively. It certainly helps having the blessing as well, of course, because we get the 30 extra crit damage, and then 60 resistance and accuracy, so he has enough accuracy to place his debuffs. We're going to be doing a damage test inside Dragon, so those are the kind of stats that he's working with there. A little bit more speed, not really anything for attack or anything like that, though, so he's not going to be too crazy. So let's go ahead, let's hop over to Dragon 20 and see what he is capable of. And again, it's so nice because he's a Void champion. I don't need to worry about coming in here with the proper affinities or any sort of malarkey like that. So we'll bring in Arbiter just so we can get the increased attack. And then we're also going to bring our Lydia so that we can get a decreased defense and weaken. And then I'll just go ahead and search for him as well. I have a lot of epics and it's very hard to find them sometimes. So there we go. This is how the team's going to be looking. We're going to go ahead and we're going to run this battle. We are going to take it off auto as soon as we load in. I have noticed, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but you used to have the option on a lot of dungeons that would say like start on auto, but that seems to have been replaced by the super raids button now, which is a bit interesting. So it is what it is, I guess. We're going to go ahead. We got the decreased defense and weaken on everybody. We're going to open with his A2 and hope it kills somebody so we can get that ignore defense on the A3. Let's go ahead and try and hit Apothecary here on 1-time speed. Boom, boom, 103,000 damage on a single hit of that A2 is very, very strong. Again, for an epic champion, certainly. Now, he does have very decent gear, of course, but that is still a strong hit for this particular champion. Now we're going to get the increased crit rate and increased crit damage. And then remember, because of his passive, since the Blades of Finality killed an enemy, the next skill they use will ignore 30% of the target's defense. So let's go ahead and see that ignore defense here. We're doing the AoE. Boom, 186k. I also seen a 225,000 hit in there, which that's a lot of damage. Let's go ahead. Let's hop out here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to run that essentially without the use of his A2 first, just to see what he is capable of doing. Now, this guy is going to be very, very good for, of course, like wave clears and those sorts of things. So you can expect a lot of damage out of him, right? So we're going to go ahead. We're going to do the AoE here. Boom! We still kill some of them. We're hitting for like 150,000 on some of these champions. If you had him built out with a little bit more, you know, for example, attack or a bit more crit damage on there, those sorts of things, right? If you had some area bonuses, we would have just went through this wave without any sort of an issue. And of course, you've seen how he went through the first wave the first time without really any sort of a problem. Anyways, let's go ahead and do the A1 here, which is a 2x hitter that has the chance of the stun. Boom! 77,000 on the A1. That's a single hit. So a 2x hitter, he's going to be doing 140,000 damage on the A1. And not only that, if he doesn't kill the enemy, he has just a 30% chance on each hit to stun the enemy. This guy is so strong. Let's go ahead. Let's whack in with the A2 here again on the Apothecary. 120,000 per hit, roughly, against that champion. We're going to go ahead and just kind of do whatever here until we can get back around to him. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to see the A1 with the ignored defense as well. So we do have the A1 available here. Let's just go ahead and hit into maybe this horde in here, right? So, boom. And we do, oh my god. With the first hit, ignored that extra defense, and we did about 112,000 damage. And then we did 77,000 damage on top after that. This guy is so strong. And again, he is a void champion. You can get such good utility out of this guy because he's not going to weak hit, right? So let's go ahead. Let's hit that AoE as well. Boom! 139k there. We take him out without really too much of an issue. This guy is incredible. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at him inside the arena. Now, do I think he's going to be a endgame viable Platinum Arena or Live Arena champion? No, of course not. He's not insane like that, right? However, this guy is going to be able to help a lot of players progress in areas that they might not have been otherwise, right? So, for example, Doom Tower, this guy is going to be very strong because of how he increases his own crit damage with the use of his passive, right? Which is very cool. So the longer you have him in the fight, the more damage he's going to be doing. So if you don't have the strongest gear, or if you don't have the strongest team surrounding him, that's okay, because he's going to ramp up over time anyways. He has good multipliers, and he has very decent base stats. Certainly not for survivability, though, with 14,000 HP and 881 on the defense. Come on, but 100 base speed, as well as 1454 base attack with his multipliers. This guy is very strong. Let's go ahead. Let's run him in an arena fight here against some other teams so you can kind of see what he's good at. And another cool thing to mention about this guy is, of course, since he has a multi-hitter inside his kit, he's going to be very good at countering the Rotos on this team, right? So Rotos, of course, can't be one-shot. We don't really care about that, though, because he has a multi-hitting skill. That being said, though, we're going to go ahead and do the AoE here. Actually, you know what? No, we're not going to do the AoE. We're just going to do the A2. The reason being is this Shazar isn't too much of a worry anyway, since we did lock him out. So let's go ahead. Let's take out the Rotos. Boom! 16k. That was a little bit of a disappointing damage number there. But keep in mind, Rotos cannot be damaged for above half of his max HP in a single hit. So even though it was 16,000, that simply just means that that Rotos only has 32,000 HP. So there's actually nothing wrong with our Slixus. He did big damage as we would have intended. Let's just go ahead and lock out the Arbiter here so she can't cycle and get a revive. Now Shazar is doing pretty decent damage, but I think we're going to do a little bit decenter damage with our next skill here, or our next use. So let's go ahead, let's do his AoE. Boom, of course, it's over. We do 218, 206,000 to the Arbiter there. That's a lot of damage. Let's go ahead. Let's try a bit of a tankier team here with a player power that's a little bit more equal to ours. They got 355 and we had 379, if I'm not mistaken. And let's go ahead and see what we can do. So, of course, we have the Duchess coming in. The only thing we just have to make sure is that we're faster, which appears that we are. So we're going to go ahead and try to lock them out. We do get the increased cooldown on the Armands there, which is very nice. We get a bit of decreased turn meter there on the Slixus, which is a bit of a shame. But let's go ahead. Let's do the AoE here. And boom! We take everybody out without a problem. 114,000 to the Arbiter. We're just going to go ahead. We're going to hang out. Duchess is going to try and revive, but that is A-okay. We're going to go ahead. Place the block debuffs here, increase our turn meter, increase resistance, all those sorts of good things. Duchess is going to try to revive, but she can't revive because we have the Lydia, who is going to, of course, use her passive. Now, he doesn't ignore Stone Skin, which is a bit of a shame, because obviously, if he did, he would be so incredibly strong, right? We're still going to see what he's capable of doing to this Stone Skin buff, though, on this Duchess, who is very tanky, and he chunks it down for, like, well over half, which is pretty crazy. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to reset everybody here just so he has all his skills off cooldown. The Duchess should hopefully be getting a turn pretty soon. We'll get the increased attack on him there as well. I hope she cuts in front of the Slixus. She does not, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and do that A2 again, though. Oh, my God. We blasted off the Stone Skin, and we almost killed her with one single move, which is pretty insane. Now, I don't know how tanky this Duchess is. She is certainly, like, resisting our skills and everything like that, so I'd imagine she has a little bit of stats behind her. And that's it. Boom. It's all over. 44k to the Duchess to finish there. This is a 7 million player account, so it might not be the best showcase of his talents. Let's go ahead. Let's scroll down to the bottom here and see if we have some other insane teams that we can go up against. This team, as long as I'm faster, we should be okay. They have an Arbiter and the Incarnate, which is interesting. I think this is the first time I've ever seen the Incarnate run in an arena fight, which is, again, very interesting because the Incarnate was essentially added to be an empowerment champion for an Arbiter, right? Like, she's just supposed to make Arbiter so much better and whatnot. But we cut in here. They're not properly speed-tuned. That's perfectly okay. Let's go ahead. Let's hit into the Narcisse here, an HP-based damage dealer. He doesn't stand a chance, people. Not a single one. He is gone. He is done. It is over. We did like 70k to him there on a single hit. This is so strong. And now we're also going to do an ignore 30% of defense on the AoE with Slixus on his next turn, which is just absolutely insane. Boom! Oh my god. The Ancora got smacked for 114k. The Arbiter sat down as well. There's nothing that the Incarnate is going to be able to do against us here. She doesn't have any sort of revive or anything like that inside her kit. I made a video a while back when it was the Incarnate Fusion, and I talked about the fact that she was one of the best. That's an A1, by the way. Just took it out. Forgive me. I had a bit of an outburst there because that's so good. This guy's player power is 2 times mine, and we just tapped down his 6-star Awakened champion. That is crazy. You can see the absolute damage that this guy's doing. Like I was saying, though, I made a video about how the Incarnate was the best fusion of 2024, essentially, and I still stand by that. And the reason being is you could skip it without any sort of issue, right? And you didn't have to worry about, oh, I might be missing a good champion. It's just, no. She's trash. Don't have to worry about it. Easy skip. It is what it is. So, you know, we had some very good fusions in 2024, and then we also had the Incarnate. But here we go. AoE. Burst them down. 150k on them there. That's absolutely insane. Let's go ahead. Let's do another kind of tankier team like this. So, He-Man, it's a 6.8 million player account. Doesn't feel good bullying those people. Let's see if we can find somebody else. Let's try just the ultimate tank team like this, right? So they have a Harima, who's going to decrease our ignore defense effects, and then they have a Taurus and a Marichka. Now, I fully do not believe that we are going to win this fight, okay? Just a heads up, because look at this. They have stone skin across the board. They have protected increased defense on some of these champions. We get polymorphed. We get counterattack. There's so much going on here, but we're still going to see what he's capable of doing. We don't get any sort of a debuff anywhere there. My Lydia gets sat down. Taurus is too fast. That's a bit of a shame. Again, I didn't expect to win that particular fight, though. That's an absolutely insane team to be trying to go against with a speed team, certainly. Let's showcase something else he can do here. So, if you'll remember, his A2 and his A1 both hit twice, right? So, he has a 2x hitter on 2 different skills, and then he also has an AoE. So, what is he good at? He's good at countering Ultimate Death Knight. And I know Ultimate Death Knight is, like, just ever-present inside the arena because I have a free-to-play account that's in, like, bronze. And Ultimate Death Knight is everywhere there. He was a free champion that everybody got, right? So he's everywhere, usually built out inside Stone Skin, usually in Regen or Immortal, those sorts of things. He's very annoying to try and kill. But with Slixus, you can just come in and say, hey, I don't care. That second champion just got hit for 107,000. Your damage dealer's sitting down now. I'm just going to cycle back around through my turns. We're just going to do kind of whatever with some other champions here. We're going to lock out the Arbiter because I don't want her to revive, even though she's locked out anyways. Blah, blah, blah. You know, that's cool and all. We do the AoE. Everybody sits down. I just put it on auto. We wait for the Ultimate Death Knight to die. It's all fine and dandy. And look how much he chunked off of the Stone Skin people. He almost one-shot the Stone Skin off of, like, 2 attacks, which is just, like, absolutely insane if you think about it, right? Like, I have a Sun Wukong who's built out, and he can't even do that. It's just, it's wild, because he's ignoring, like, the increased defense, the shields, all those sorts of things, and part of that is what makes UDK so strong, because he's putting shields on himself, he's usually getting some sort of an increased defense from his teammates, and just to prove that I'm not, you know, bullying people, this guy has a higher player power than me. Let's go ahead and refresh once again, and let's see if we can find some sort of an insane team to take him against. I want something kind of tanky, just to see if we can struggle a little bit. I would go against this, but then Tormund's going to be very annoying, so let's try maybe something like this. Like, we have a Mithrala in there. We have an Alaz, I think his name is, the mythical there, inside this team as well. Let's see what he's capable of doing. I'm going to apply some Lip Balm while I do this, because my lips have been very dry due to the cold weather recently, so don't judge me. I don't really care if you do anyways. You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, right? We do actually land some debuffs there, it looked like, on the Mithrala as well. Let's go ahead. Let's do our AoE here. Boom. Everybody's just dead. Everybody's dead. That's it. It's over. Everybody's dead. We can go home. We're gonna put it on auto. The only one left is Mithrala. Well, technically we do have a Sun Wukong left as well, but he can't revive because we have Lydia. And then, of course, you know, Slixus is going to come in with his A2 and then probably tap down Mithrala there. You know, it's over. That's it. Alaz didn't get to do anything. Mithrala didn't even get to go. Well, she did once, but she just had an A1 available. This player has 7.34 million player power, so I can't brag too much because those champions were probably not that tanky. Let's go against team like this. 9.52. This guy has swiped his credit card a few times, right? It is what it is. It's a gacha game. Everybody's swiping their credit cards. 6-star sended credit cards, +4 empowered credit card. It is what it is, right? It's the name of the game. Not literally, because the name of the game is Raid Shadow Legends, but you get the idea. This is a game where people spend a lot of money, and I'm not judging because I recently just spent like almost $100 on this game to get He-Man, which I'm going to be building out soon enough, so I'm not judging anybody. Don't get me wrong. Boom. We don't kill the, I forgot her name. We don't kill the, Skinwalker lady there. Again, I forgot her name. I don't know if she has some sort of a passive that prevents that, or if it was something to do with, like, Galathier, maybe. We get polymorphed by a 5-star Awakened Galathier, which feels pretty rough. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do, I think, a reset here. Then Arbiter's going to be able to come in with her turn meter boost soon enough. We do get taken out by the Odin, which is a bit annoying, and I don't think we're really going to be able to do anything about that. We do take down Arbiter as well, which is nice. We do have a revive coming back soon, so we're just going to go ahead and keep trying to survive here. It's annoying when they get the block damage because of the Odin, and it can happen so often too because of the fact that we have like mythicals on the team and stuff that are going into like their second forms and whatnot. It is very annoying, certainly. We got the decreased defense removed from the Arbiter there. We can go ahead and res. Now, the problem is he going to be able to survive long enough to actually get a turn? I don't know. Let's go ahead and alternate form. We're going to go ahead and decrease everybody's cooldowns. He doesn't survive long enough, unfortunately. I think we might just be done here. Honestly, we do need to kind of hard target that Odin and see if we can't get some damage in on him. Decreased defense is going to make this a little bit interesting. This one's coming right down to the wire here. Arbiter doing some big damage there, actually. Okay, they got the revive off. I think we might be cooked here, in all honesty. We did take down the Odin, though, which is nice. The Arbiter revives, extra turn, and then Mezumel, that's her name, is going to probably have an AoE available. I think she can do second form, and then there's an AoE on the second form as well. So we're going to go ahead and... We can't res. Anyways, it's whatever. It's over. It's all done. It's gone. It is what it is. I wonder, though, if we went into this team, same team, but we are going to bring a UDK instead of a Lydia. Reason being is, of course, UDK is going to eat up those hits from Odin, so hopefully we'll be able to actually take a turn there. We do still outspeed them, of course. We get the cooldown increases, which is nice. We're going to go ahead. We're going to smack the AoE with Slixus. Most of them are sitting down. The Odin's sitting down. The Arbiter procs Swift Parry, it looks like, which is a choice of all time, having Swift Parry on an Arbiter. We go ahead and we take out the Arbiter anyways. Decrease the buff duration there. I think Mezumel's block res is on her like her form 1. I could be wrong. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take down Galathier. Not quite. He does have that passive that keeps him alive, of course, which is a bit annoying. We'll get some turn meter boost coming in there from him. We will go ahead and metamorph with Crixia, and then we'll go ahead and reset our skills. We get the cleanse and all that coming in. We'll get the increased attack here as well. We'll go in with the A2 on Galathier. There we go. We sat him down. Mezumel can't really do much. We're going to get the turn meter boost here. The only annoying thing is that the Odin's probably going to put the block damage up right away. Which, let's go ahead and do that. I think, yeah, he does put up the block damage. That's so annoying. We don't have any way to ignore that, unfortunately. I think probably one of my favorite things about Live Arena, though, is how at the top there's like the ticker that shows like whose turn it's going to be, so you can see if it's going to be your turn, if it's going to be the enemy's turn. We get block rezzed on the Slixus. This is very annoying. You know what? You get the idea. It's a good champion. I've sat here and talked about him for roughly 20 minutes. Thank you guys all so much for watching and the support on the channel. Let me know down below if you have him built, where you use him, and what sort of stats he's rocking. I'd love to hear about it. I'll see you guys next time.